Welcome back to Beyond the WOD. I'm here with affiliate owner Matt Van Schoik and one of our coaches, Charlie. So really excited to have you on today, Charlie, because we are talking about something that you, I feel like, are the subject matter expert on. When it comes to all of our gifts and strengths, I feel like this is one of your big ones and not anyone else's, and that's programming.
Yeah.
So before we dive into what it is, why we're doing what we're doing, all of that stuff, let's talk a little bit about, so Matt, I'll have you start off. What all iterations of programming have we gone through at the gym? Because I've only been here for 2 of them.
Yeah. So I want to even take a step back from that and kind of explain what we're talking about. So when we're talking about programming, we're talking about the workouts, right? The workouts that we're doing in the gym. I think there might just be a little bit of confusion there. CrossFit is a program, right? But it is the workout of the day that we're doing daily when we're talking about programming. And you know, there's a long-term vision that we're looking at. It's not just, we know that CrossFit is constantly varied functional movement executed at a relatively high intensity, and it's that constantly varied piece that I think a lot of people see and think that we're just slapping workouts together like randomly throughout the day or throughout the week. But there's like this long-term picture that gets looked at, or that we're looking at, and then we kind of back program off of that. We are not doing that now, though. So we don't program for the gym. We play with the programming for the gym, and we make sure that the programming that we're using fits the gym, but we actually pay for our programming. And that started when we were in the driveway. So way back in 2017, I was coaching classes in my driveway out of my garage at the house, and I was programming back then, and I suck at programming. Like, it's not my thing. Like, I don't like it. When I program,
what don't you like about it?
I program to my my strengths.
So you bias your programming.
I bias my programming, and I way overthink CrossFit programming. So as far as like strength training programming goes, and Charlie and I have had this conversation 1,000 times, but as far as strength training programming goes, like, I can program that all day long. It's simple. There's a science and magic in CrossFit programming that even after all of these years, like, I don't have it.
The magic is in the movement. The art is the programming.
Yeah, the art. Sorry. So it's the art. Like, I'm not an artist, and like, maybe I've created some mental block for myself there, but it's just, I have never really gotten a firm grasp of the nuance of CrossFit programming. I can program, but it's not going to be the best programming, and I'm going to spend way too much time doing it and like beating myself up over it. So I find, especially as an affiliate owner with other things to do, that it's much easier and more efficient for us to pay for our programming. So in the way back, when we were in the driveway, I was doing the programming, and we were doing lots and lots of power cleans and box jumps and like kettlebell swings and like dumbbell snatches and stuff like that. We never ran.
You're missing a modality there.
Like, we never got on the machines because I hated doing that stuff, and like, we weren't doing gymnastics. Like, if we were going to do like push-ups, and that was about it.
You had your box jumps.
Yeah, well, like some box jumps, yeah. But like it was crazy biased, and luckily I recognized that really quick. I was like, wait a minute. We are not doing CrossFit. We're doing Mat Fit, and that's not what we're after here. So I started purchasing programming from a place called DogTown Fitness, or DogTown CrossFit, not DogTown Fitness, which is a gym out on the West Coast. So it's one of the earliest CrossFit gyms out on the West Coast, run by a dude named Dusty Highland. So Dusty was a big name in the CrossFit world back then, and he was putting this programming out. So I started purchasing his programming and running that in the driveway. And I would get every day, like, we would get like a week, I think, of workouts at a time, and it was straight up just like, here's the warm up, here's the strength or skill piece, and then here's the conditioning piece for the day, and that was it. There were no coach's notes or any of that kind of stuff. So I was still kind of creating a little bit on the back end, but it was early enough in our journey that, like, I didn't know about coaches notes, and I wasn't thinking necessarily about timelines and like, hitting bus stops along the way. Like I was just trying to deliver these workouts. So we did that in the driveway until we moved into our first location. And at the first location, I think maybe right towards the end of coaching in the garage, moving into the first location, we were following a program called Warmup and Workout. So that was written by a dude named Pat Barber, who again is another CrossFit OG and like super coach nerd. So I was trying to become a better coach, and I was looking for programming that would help me become a better coach. And that's kind of how I fell into Warmup and Workout, because not only was it a few different variations of the workout. There were two variations of the workout. There was a fitness and an RX version of the workout. But it was very classic CrossFit. You're going to warm up. We're going to do, like, if we were going to do a strength thing, it was going to be front squats on Fran Day, where we're doing thrusters and pull-ups. So it was going to be like a lift that led straight into whatever was in the conditioning piece, or we were just going to do the lift. So it's very, very classic CrossFit type stuff. But there were a lot of coaches notes and like some coach development stuff on the back end of that. So like he had a video that he would put out of the whiteboard brief. He's like, this is how I would brief the whiteboard to the members standing in front of me. And then as a coach, here's what I'm thinking about when it comes to this whiteboard brief. So there were two variations of the whiteboard brief each day. And then there were movement videos attached to each one of the movements. There were full coaches notes and talking about the stimulus of the workout and what to think about for each movement. And that's really where I was like, oh, okay.
There's a lot to this.
Yeah, there's a lot to this. I learned a ton as a coach, but more than that, it put all of the coaching staff on the same page at that time. And that's really what I was looking for. Was I wanted to I guess standardize might be the wrong word, but I wanted to make sure that the 5 a.m. and the 5:45 p.m. class were getting the same thing when they came in. And up to that, like we weren't doing that. It was like here's the workout, and like do whatever you have to do to get to this point. Yeah, to get into that point. Yeah. So we started with my programming, went to DogTown, moved then into Warmup and Workout. And I think we started to see, I think we went through a phase where we were felt like we needed a little bit more structure and something a little bit more constant or consistent. So that's when we moved into the level method stuff. And level method was really good in that it gave, we had this big map that was on the wall, and it had all of these different colors from beginner or all of these different levels from beginner all the way out to super CrossFit competitor. And it had all of these different categories that we would work through and that we would test. Were we doing level method?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking, so I've been here for 3 iterations because I came when we were doing level method.
Were you here when we were doing level method stuff? So I thought it was really good for new people coming in. So it was like, hey, here's where you're at, and then here's the next step, and then here's the next step, and here's the next step. And it gave you somewhere to progress through and advance to, which I thought was really nice. For an onboarding, bringing a new person into the gym, we had a little bit of a different structure back then. It was really good for that. But it got really stale really fast.
Lots of kettlebells.
Yeah, it was.
Lots of kettle and cleans. I feel like I got good at cleans faster than anything else because we did so many of them.
Yeah, and that staleness. I mean, it took me a while to see it because when we were doing level method, I wasn't coaching as much. I was coaching very little actually then, and kind of more focused on the business side of things. And that got lost on me. So when I came back into coaching and saw how repetitive the level method stuff was, I was like, okay, we need to make a switch. And around that time, CrossFit came out with the CrossFit affiliate programming. So that is programming that's provided direct from CrossFit for the affiliates. So we made that switch into CAP, CrossFit Affiliate Programming. And I think that's around the time that you started coaching.
Yeah. So yes, I started coaching.
I think both of you started coaching around that time.
Yeah, I started coaching with CAP because we had CAP for about a month before we switched to Mayhem.
No, we had CAP. You must have had CAP for a month.
I meant we had CAP coaching CAP for about a month before we switched to Mayhem. No, we used CAP for
like 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Something like that.
And man, do you remember how the members reacted when we switched from level method to CAP?
Yeah.
It was so intense. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, this is so hardcore. And then we adapted really fast.
Really fast. So the thing that I liked about CAP was it was a return to our roots.
It was a lot more CrossFit-y.
It was from the source.
Yeah.
You know, it was very much, we're going to warm up, we're going to focus on this like skill or this prep for like pull-ups or thrusters or whatever it was, and then we would get into the workout of the day. And you know, they followed the model of weightlifting, gymnastics, monostructural work, and then mixing those as you go throughout the week. Like, they programmed basically straight out of the level 2 manual, which I thought was great. And it was really good timing for us too, with you two coming in as new coaches, because I think it allowed you to spend some time like really focusing on like the meat and core of CrossFit without getting lost in all the different nuances that you can kind of throw into it.
Well, they had all the progressions already built out for you. They would tell you like, okay, lead the group through 3 reps of this, focus on this point of performance. I mean, everything was so laid out. I felt like that gave me a pretty good foundation.
Yeah.
So that when we did switch programming and there wasn't that level of detail in some of the things, it was like I knew what to do because we'd done it.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I started to see a little bit of, I think I didn't do a good job with CAP when we were using CAP, because I felt like there was so much skill work that was involved in it that people were, where it was, we went from level method where it was like we're doing the same stuff every day, and people got bored with that, where now it's like so skill focused and we're doing these things, and I had a couple people tell me like, hey, this is way too hard for me because of the skill progressions that we were working on. And I mean, that's a failure on me as a coach, and there's a fly. That's a failure on me as a coach in not being able to adapt and make those people feel more comfortable in that. But then I had other people tell me like, man, this is awesome. Like, we're doing stuff that we haven't done in so long, and we're doing new things, and I really like how it's not the same. So there was like this crazy, like, had this group of people over here and I had this group of people over here, and it's my job as the owner of the gym, the affiliate owner, to make sure that we are delivering results for everyone that walks out on the floor. So started kind of looking around at some different programming options, and Charlie was like really pushing me towards Mayhem, because Charlie's a Mayhem athlete.
So real quick, pause there for a second. So Charlie, what drew you to Mayhem and Mayhem's athlete program?
A lot of it's just like kind of the foundation of how they run things. You know, it goes faith, family, fitness. You know, that's kind of how they live. And that really drew me in. When I started doing Mayhem programming, it was just the online, basically general pop programming. And it had a lot of volume, which I like, because I was doing the semifinals track and just like scaling it to where I could hit the weights and everything.
And you're a cardio junkie.
Yeah, I like volume.
Charlie likes to work.
Yeah,
a lot.
And then just like, as I've done CrossFit, like I've kind of been around a lot of the Mayhem people a lot, and they're just good people. Yeah. They live and breathe CrossFit. They are very big on community and their values, and they die on that hill.
Yeah, I mean, the Mayhem group, man, it's just like such an awesome group of people. And you know, when he first started talking about, hey, you should look at Mayhem, I was looking at some other stuff, and I really, like, in my head, I was like, dude, it's a bunch of games athletes, because that's what you see, right? And you know, I had this.
And for those that don't know, Rich Froning is the founder of Mayhem. Rich Froning being...
He's the Michael Jordan of CrossFit.
Yeah, being like one of the all-time greatest CrossFit Games athletes ever to walk the earth.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what I saw.
Yeah.
And I had to check myself in my bias there, because I was thinking about, okay, when someone outside of the gym that's never done CrossFit before Googles CrossFit and they see Games athletes and they think, oh, well, that's what they look like, that's what they do, I don't look like that, I can't do that, so CrossFit must not be for me. That's exactly what I was doing with Mayhem. I was looking at it going, man, this is for nothing but Games athletes. That's not who we are, because we're a bunch of, like, normal folks. Like, I think our average member is like a 42-year-old woman.
Well, I think from the classes I've seen at Mayhem, their average age is higher.
Yeah.
Really?
Like,
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, and so that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to really take a look at this programming. And I like, you and I have been around each other so much over the last few years that, like, I think I have a level of trust with you that you don't know about. And I was like, okay, if Charlie is that into this thing, like, there must be something there. So I was like, okay, I'm going to back off and try to get rid of my bias here and really look at this programming. I started looking at it and I'm like, man, this is legit stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it is really set up for, you know, that 40-year-old woman to be able to come in and get a really great blend of strength and conditioning and get some of that variance, but also some consistency and some of these movement patterns. And it took me a minute to see that, but I'll be 100% honest with you. The thing that was like, we're doing this was they're rooted in faith. I mean, that was the thing. Like, when I realized, like, okay, this is good programming, and they are walking in faith in all of this, that's when I was like, okay, we'll make this move.
Yeah, man, so that too. But for me, the selling point was also, as we were looking at these different programs, the level of detail in the coach's notes that Mayhem put in was awesome. It was reminiscent of CAP, but there was so much information that I felt like I learned and I still am every day, but I felt like I learned so much just reading through the coaching notes for a particular workout. Yeah,
I think, you know, there's, again, you know, people look at these workouts that we put up, or our members look at these workouts that we put up, and the only thing that they're seeing is the warm up, like the strength piece, the conditioning piece, and the cool down. There's like a whole backside to this stuff that we as coaches are working through every single day. I mean, we do every week on Wednesday, the workouts get delivered into Chalk.it Pro, which is the app that we use to deliver the workouts to our gym members. So Wednesday, I will get them switched into our CrossFit track, and I'll go through and do like the first run of like modifications, any kind of like extra scaling options. Just kind of, I just kind of give it that once over to get a. So Wednesdays, I will go through and do the once over on the workout. I'll get it switched into our CrossFit program. I'll do a really quick run through of each day and just like what I see really quickly and make those adjustments. And then on Thursday, Charlie and I have a meeting after the 8:30 class, and he and I will sit down together and we'll go basically line by line through the workout and talk about, like, you know, is this going to work for the class that we expect to show up for our gym members? Are there, you know, do we need to scale this up? Do we need to scale this down? What changes do we need to make in this workout? So we'll go through every piece of the workout and work through that together to make sure that what we are putting out on the floor works for the people that are showing up. So we make a lot of change. Sometimes we make a lot of change. Sometimes we don't.
Depends.
It just kind of depends on the week. And then on Friday, we always have an all-staff meeting where we sit down after the 8:30 class and we go through the next week's workouts one by one by one and we talk through each one of those so that everyone's on the same page. We have that opportunity to ask questions. And then you also have all of the back end stuff, all of the coaches' notes where they're giving us, the stimulus for the workout, what you should be thinking about and the expectation for each movement, how long it should take, what kind of weight you should be lifting. There are coaches' cues in there for us, and they're directing us sometimes where we need to be putting our eyes on these members. So there's just so much that goes into the 1 hour workout that you show up for. It's way more than just like show up.
Plug and play.
Yeah.
Here's the workout. Let's just warm up and do it.
Yeah.
And then shout out to the 5 a.m. for being the guinea pigs for every given day.
Yeah.
Because there are times where the workout also changes a little bit after that 5 a.m. class.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's, I always feel like my first class of the day is like, okay, like
getting my feet underneath me.
I'm pretty sure this is how we're going to do this, but
yeah. So we've talked about kind of what all goes into it on the backside. So let's talk specifically programming. What are some things that you guys look at when it comes to programming? So for example, we talk about CrossFit is constantly varied, functional movement executed at a relatively high intensity. So that constantly varied piece, it's not random, but it's varied. So what are some things that you guys look at in the programming when you guys meet or when you're looking at the week ahead to see like, okay, is this varied enough? Or for example, today, so today is what, October 6th, Monday? So by the time this comes out, this will be a week delayed, but today's workout, what was it? The qualifiers.
It was Fittest of the Coast qualifier.
Fittest of the Coast qualifier. That was not originally programmed in Mayhem's programming. That was something that we plugged in. What made you guys choose today to put it in? What were some of the considerations that went into that?
A big thing was, so originally we were supposed to have overhead lunges.
Well, wait a minute. Originally, it was supposed to be a Mayhem workout, and Charlie is doing the Fittest. What is it? The
Fittest of the Coast.
Fittest of the Coast. Charlie is doing the Fittest of the Coast qualifier. So Charlie is trying to qualify. Where's this one at?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. So when is it?
Which is a big deal, guys.
February.
So Charlie's trying to qualify to go to this big competition down in North Carolina. And we don't have a ton of competition going on in this gym, but we love you, dude, and we want to see you go and qualify and compete in this competition. And it was his idea. He's like, well, what if we threw this in? And always, anytime he suggests doing a competitive workout in class, I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. But he always pushes me, and we find a way. So that, like, I just want to say that, like, originally, if this would have been 3 years ago, I wouldn't have done this workout.
Yeah.
Today's workout. Yeah, for sure. Like, I would have been like, nope, we're not a competitive gym. I don't want to push my members into any competitive stuff. But I've definitely relaxed on that quite a bit because no one cares.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they're like, if I had not said that this was a Fittest of, what is it? See,
Fittest of the Coast.
Fittest of the Coast. If I would have not written that down, no one would have known.
Yeah.
Because Charlie did such a good job, like, getting this workout plugged in.
And
so.
I mean, speaking for the methodology, like, there shouldn't be a difference, and I know there is, but there shouldn't be a difference between competitive workouts and what we do in the gym. It's just how you scale and modify
Especially
it.
qualifier workouts, because they're all pretty much basic CrossFit.
Yeah. So this workout is a 20-minute AMRAP, so as many rounds and reps as possible inside of 20 minutes of was it a 40 calorie row?
40 calorie row, 20 unweighted box step overs, 40 calorie row, 20 burpee box jump overs.
Okay, so some of the things initially that I saw in this workout was like it's 20 minutes long and it's pretty much nonstop. So it's kind of like this like longer cardio piece, right? So we're getting into, there's like some monostructural movement in there.
So let's pause for a second. Yep. What's monostructural movement? So let's talk about modalities, because we've thrown around that word modality a couple times, and we got to keep in mind that not everybody's like, what the heck are they talking about?
They're not as nerdy as we are.
So in CrossFit, we have 3 modalities. 3, what would you call them? Like themes, kind of movement?
I mean, modality is fine. Like we can talk through what that means.
So we've got monostructural, which is your typical cardio. Think like cyclical moving. So running, biking, jump roping, locomotive-like movements. Then we've got gymnastics. So gymnastics is going to be body weight and moving your body through space. So when we think gymnastics, I remember I originally thought like, okay, that's stuff on the pull-up bar. That's your pull-ups, your dips, your any kind of swinging, things like that. But it's also your squats, your push-ups, box jumps, anytime you're moving your body through space. And then you start introducing an external load, and now we've got weightlifting. So that would be like your kettlebell swings, obviously your Olympic lifts, deadlifts, anything with that external weight. So now that we know modalities, right? So CrossFit says constantly varied, not random, but constantly varied. So that variance comes from mixing and matching those modalities into different workouts. So pick up from there.
Okay, so I saw a longer monostructural dominant workout, right? So you're gonna spend a lot of time on the rower. It's 20 minutes long, so we're pushing into that longer time frame. And then some gymnastics work coupled in with that, right? With the box step ups and then the burpee box jump overs. So like that's immediately where my mind went. So initially I'm thinking, okay, this is like a longer workout, so we can't put it in on a lifting day. But we ended up doing that anyway.
If you came to today's workout, you know we also had deadlifts.
So what were you thinking about in this workout?
Basically movement patterns and the time domain as far as like metabolic conditioning.
So what do you mean by like when you're talking about the movement patterns?
So like we've got single leg squat with the step overs. We've got hinging with the rowing and burpee box jump overs. Got some squatting in there with the burpee box jump overs. So pretty much keeping those patterns the same with what we were originally going to have for today.
What, do you know, can you pull up what today's original workout was supposed to be?
Yeah.
Oh, I just like, I'm thinking back at like how close did we actually get to it? It's tough to just pull a workout and then try to just plug it in, because we can't just look at that day and what's going on that day.
You have to look at the whole week.
Yeah, you have to look at the whole week and how it's going to fit in with the theme and the volume and the conditions for the week. So what did we have originally?
So we had burpees over the bar.
Okay. We got the burpees.
So we had burpees like
over
so we had
an object.
Yeah, burpees over the bar. We kind of replaced that with burpees over the box.
Yeah. And then we had 25-foot overhead walking lunge. There's our single leg.
So single leg work, which we're doing with the box step up.
And then burpees again. And
then that conditioning piece or that kind of monostructural
so getting your heart
type
rate up,
movement. Yeah. So, and that one was about what, was that a 15-minute workout? Yeah, it's about a 15-minute workout, right? So kind of
getting into that medium length.
Yeah, we're kind of in a similar time frame. Originally, we were going to put it for tomorrow's workout, where we have 400-meter repeats.
I want to talk about that one too in a little bit.
I'm really glad that this is going to be a late release.
Yeah.
Because I went to tell the class today, like, hey, this is what we're doing tomorrow. And I was like, I pulled it up and I was like, tomorrow we're going to do lots of fun stuff. And then I turned it off really quick. I'm like, just show up. It's going to be a great time.
Yep.
But originally we were going to and just that quick initial thought was, hey, we're running 400s. That's monostructural work. This is a monostructural workout. Let's put it in that day. But when we kind of chilled out and really looked at what was going on, it didn't fit.
More intense and interval work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, that's a really good time now to talk about that. So interval work, that has been the biggest, maybe not the biggest, but that's been a really big theme in Mayhem programming, has been interval work.
We Mayhem's bread and butter.
Yeah, we see more interval work with Mayhem than I think we ever did with CAP or Level Method.
100%.
So yeah, you said it's their bread and butter. It's one of their, Austin Maliolo says it's one of their tenets. Like, why interval work? So I think you're the one to answer this one.
The big thing with interval work, if it's done properly, you can keep the same intensity and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and still drive that volume up, which in turn will get a greater response and adaptation in the long run, and you recover from it better than just smashing yourself for 20 minutes compared to a minute of work, a minute of rest, so your body has time to recover. And it helps with pacing a lot too.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that being able to get that intensity is really important for our members, because what does intensity do for us?
increases fitness.
Especially if you have a workout where like you have to go every 3 minutes and you have to get a certain amount of work done in those 3 minutes and rest. So that's going to drive you to push your pace harder. So that's going to push our members to actually hit that intensity that sometimes people struggle with.
Yeah, I mean, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And as coaches, I think sometimes it's a struggle to push members to that intensity because I can't feel what you're feeling. I can look at your face and have a general idea, but I don't know where that threshold is all the time. Yeah. And as coaches, I mean, we're trained to help them identify that and find that, but intervals is almost a coaching tool too, to help them find that intensity.
I think there's a bit of skill in being able to read people and where they're at, and you have to have a lot of reps to be able to do that, and you have to really know the people that are walking in the door. And I'm not saying that you guys don't know the people that are walking in the door, but maybe we don't quite have all of the reps in like learning to read people. And I feel like for me personally, that is a strength of mine, is like I can look at most people and kind of get a pretty good feel of where you're at, even from like an emotional standpoint. Like, you know, Carmen always gets mad at me because she tells me that I look into her soul. She's like, stop looking at me. But that skill comes with time and reps. So you're 100% right. Like it's a really great coaching tool, but there's still a skill set as a coach that has to be developed in getting to know your people well enough in that moment of anguish, I suppose, to know, like, can they go a little bit harder?
Can I push them, or do we need to back off?
And knowing if it's the right day for it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so that whole, relatively high intensity, and that intensity level is going to change day to day. Like, intensity doesn't mean just coming in and smashing your face against a wall for 20 minutes.
And that's why every day when people are walking in the door, we're talking to them like, yo.
How are you today?
Hey, Molly, how do you feel today?
Yeah.
Like, it's not just like...
I'm not just making transactional small talk.
Right. It's not about, yes, I want to talk to you for sure. And I want to have a conversation with you, but you letting me know how you feel right now is going to help me figure out what are we going to do for you today in the workout. And the biggest struggle is with the 5 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
8:32, like, awesome. How are you guys doing today? Good. Like, I actually want to know.
Yeah, like you got to give me more.
I
than
really
just
want to
good.
know.
Yeah, the 5 a.m. is just grunts.
Yeah. Well, today I told them I had 15 people in the class, and it was dead silent in here. Like, there's 15 people in here, and there's like no noise. I'm like, okay, like how's everyone doing? And like just total blank stares.
Yep.
So I told them, I was like, hey, look, as we're going through the warm up today, like I understand it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
On a Monday.
Yeah, on a Monday. Some of you have been up for like literally like 5 minutes. I get that. Like you don't know where you're at right now. But as you're going through the warm up, like I want you to check in with yourself. Like, how do your ankles feel? How do your knees feel? How do your hips feel? What about what's going on with your shoulders and your elbows and your neck? Like mentally, where are you at? Like I want you to check on yourself through this warm up. And if you feel like, hey, I've got something going on in my knee or whatever, like that's the time for you to tell me so that we can make some adjustments for today's workout. Yep. If you feel like, man, my head's just not in the game today, like I need to know that.
Yeah.
Because intensity is relative, not just from person to person, but from day to day.
And getting a quote unquote good workout in can look different day to day.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that like a lot of people think that when they come in, if they're not just smashing their head against the wall and just like having to army crawl, low crawl out of the gym after 3, 2, 1 time, that they didn't get a good workout in that day. And that is not the case.
Yeah.
It's like there's days for that, but there's also days that are not for that.
Well, I mean, that to me, that's testing, right? When you push yourself to that place where, like what you were doing in today's workout,
that
like
dark and scary place.
Yeah, you're trying to do this qualifier, like that's a test, and testing should be the smallest piece of what we're doing in here. We should be training most of the time.
Yeah, when I did it the first time Friday, afterwards, like, man, I haven't went there for a while.
Yeah.
Like it's like that, you hit that place and you're like, I'm never doing that again.
The pain cave. Yep. And it's not sustainable. Like that's the other big thing is members. So this was one of the things I wanted to talk about. What do you say to members? And we're kind of already addressing it, that look at the whiteboard, they look at the workout of the day and they say, man, I'm not going to get enough out of this, or this isn't hard enough today. Or they look at it and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. Or that's way too much today. I'm going to be smoked.
It depends on the workout. So let's just say tomorrow's workout, for instance. If you feel like you aren't getting enough out of it, you probably aren't running hard enough.
So tomorrow's workout is like
I don't have
4, 6, 8. It's like 6 or 8 400-meter repeats.
Yeah, and it descends in rest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you sandbag every 400 and you're just jogging like zone 2 pace, you're not going to get
much out of it.
But, I mean, I think that's, hitting that stimulus, that's where that's important. As long as you hit the stimulus, you're going to get everything you need out of it.
Yeah.
But you also shouldn't feel smashed every day.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be going through your whole day, dragging ass and worrying about tomorrow, like, oh man, I got to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's easy for me to talk about this from like a lifting standpoint, right? So we've got deadlifts in today's workout, and we're at 70%. So 70% should be a number that feels like really accomplishable. It feels like I'm doing some work, but like I'm not even close to
like you
failure.
feel it, but it's not.
Yeah. The bar should be moving fast. Like it should feel snappy. But I think that those percentages are just a guideline. So interestingly, I was listening to Austin Malleolo,
I think.
Austin. I was listening to Austin on another podcast, and he was talking about something that Coach Bergner had said, where in Bergner weightlifting, they're going to give percentages because they're using these percentages for his online community.
Because they don't know your particular members.
Yeah, they don't know who they're programming for. They're just putting a general weightlifting program out there, and they know about where they want these lifts to be. So they might say, hey, we're going to do 5 sets of 5 back squats at 85% of your 1 rep max, which should be a challenging load, right? Like anytime you see 80 plus, like that's uncomfortable loading. And that's kind of what they're getting after. Now, what Coach B would say is, for my online community, that's where we want to be, but the coaching piece of this happens when we're in person. So if you walk in and we're programmed at 85%, but the bar's moving like trash, I don't care how good you feel. If you can't move the bar well, then we're not going to 85%, right? Or, I mean, the opposite of that could be true as well. Like if maybe you don't feel so good, but man, the bar's moving really, really well today. You got your technique in. Or maybe you feel great and the bar is moving really well. Maybe we're going to go past 85% today, right? So I think that's a nuance in coaching and something that we talk about that doesn't necessarily get talked about.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever said that specifically like that, but I'll say to our members every time they come in, like, hey, our goal is 80% or 70% today. So the bar should be moving well. It should feel strong. You shouldn't be at jeopardy of failure. If you feel good, put a little more on. If it feels too heavy, take a little off.
And I think that percentage, like that 1 rep max, you should look at like that as your best day.
Yeah.
So that percentage work is based off your best day. If you're not feeling 100%, RPE 7 if it's 70%.
Yeah. So that's a fun conversation. What do you mean by RPE?
So rate of perceived exertion. That's what that stands for. The way I kind of like to look at it is, so if it's a 7, 3 to 4 reps still in the tank comfortably. Yeah. So nowhere near failure. And just, kind of moderate loading.
Yeah. So do you like RPE for a programming standpoint?
It depends. So for me, no.
Okay, I hate RPE.
I don't think people know what they're
like.
I don't think
it's hard. I don't
think most of our members, myself included, know enough or have ever been pushed to that point to know and accurately, like, I don't know what an RPE of 7 is for me.
I think the same thing about 1 rep maxes. So
I think very few of us have a true 1 rep max.
So I think very few of us understand RPE or what our maximum effort is in both exertion and feel. So I don't mean to cut you off there.
You're
What were you, it doesn't feel good for you? Why?
Well, for instance, we did testing at Mayhem, and it was a 2 failure workout, and we had to write RPE on the board each round, and it was thrusters and burpees to failure. Well,
That sounds terrible.
That sounds horrific.
it was I ended
Stay
up
tuned,
going
guys. That's next week's
Yeah,
squad.
40
I'm just
minutes.
I won't let him do that one.
But
40 minutes
Yeah.
of thrusters and burpees to failure.
yeah,
Wow.
So
I think that's probably what hell is like.
the
Dude,
reps,
definitely, for sure.
the reps and weight went up each round.
Oh my gosh.
But so we wrote RPE up on the board, and I never went past 4. And then 2 rounds later, I was done.
Yeah,
So my gauge of my RPE is
it's way
Little
off.
off.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really like, I feel like it can be a good coaching tool, just like percentages can be a good coaching tool, but I trust my eyes and my ability to coach more than your ability to feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want to see how you're moving, and I'm going to okay, if you're moving really well, we can start to push the intensity of this movement up. And now I'm watching, where's our threshold at? Right? Are we starting to break down in our movement patterns or our ability to keep our intensity high? And then I'm going to adjust from there. And that's how I'm looking at, okay, where are they at from a exertion standpoint, but also have to consider how they're feeling psychologically and physiologically. So there's a whole lot of things that go into consideration when I'm coaching you on the barbell or through a workout or whatever it is. Like I'm not just saying, go, 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 go.
Right.
Like today I had Farron and Susanna on the rower, and both of them are really good, strong rowers. And I felt like they were dogging it a little bit. Like they both walked in and they both were looking strong today, and I pushed them pretty hard, and boy, did they respond. I mean, Farron was rowing like 2,000 on the rower. It was crazy. And Susanna's like, I can't keep up with him, but she's rowing like 1,700.
I was gonna say she's.
You know, like they were straight getting after
Yeah.
it, and they both just kept responding. You know, I would say, hey, let's go a little bit harder, and they would respond to that. I'm like, all right, we still look really, really strong on the machine. It's still moving. We're maintaining pace. Let's go a little bit harder. And they would respond. And you know, if I would have asked them like, hey, I want you to push a little bit harder, and I would have seen their timing or their rhythm off on their stroke pattern, or if I would have saw their numbers starting to fall,
then we know we've gotten to that point.
Then it's like, hey, okay, we're there. We got to back it off just a little bit. I want you to stay right there in that pocket. So there's way more that goes on from a coaching standpoint than just here's what's on the board, go and do that thing. Or if you can't do that, then you're a failure. Like, no, these are guidelines. They are not what absolutely must be done.
I think that's a good time to go into scaling.
Sure.
Yeah.
So with that being said, scaling is very, very okay.
I mean, you have to do it.
It's necessary. Yeah.
I mean, we've had that conversation before. Yeah, I mean, I think you can't progress without scaling.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of programming too. So when we were kind of to bring the two together, when we were looking at this workout and how do we put this in, you know, we didn't have the different levels like we normally have for our regular daily workouts, the liberty, independence, and freedom. So we kind of built those into it a little bit. So what were some of the things that you looked at, both of you looked at initially of like, okay, here's something that I've got to think about as far as stimulus for our gym population. How can we scale this, et cetera?
I'm trying to think how we scaled this one.
So it was anytime we're looking at scaling, one of the first things that I look at is like time domain or what I think about, especially like, so we've got this 20-minute AMRAP, right? As many rounds in reps as possible.
When you don't have it in front of me.
Yeah. And so I've got this 20-minute AMRAP, and I have this goal of I want you to hit like 2+ rounds inside of this workout, right? So I know that it's going to take a certain amount of time to row the calories, a certain amount, if we're looking at the RX variation of this, a certain amount of time for most people to row this number of calories, a certain amount of time for most people to accomplish this many box step ups. You know, same thing for the burpee box jump over. So I start with time domain. So, okay, if I want them to finish this row in 40 calories in how long, Charlie?
2 minutes.
2 minutes, around 2 minutes. And I don't even remember what is that what we did? 2 minutes? Okay, so if I want them to finish this 40 calorie row in about 2 minutes at that 75 to 80% effort, then when I start to look at the next level, the next scaling option, I want to keep 2 minutes and I want to keep that 75 to 80% effort. So if I want to go for that time frame at that effort, then what is reasonable for me to expect that person to hit? Well, they're probably not going to hit 40 calories in that time frame at that effort level. So we back it off just a little bit and we're like, okay, maybe instead of 40 calories, we're going to go for 35. Right? Or maybe we're going to go for 30 or whatever it is. So that's kind of immediately where I go to. I think time frames first. I don't know.
If there's barbell work, I look at weights and like what percentage we should be moving, and skill. So that's usually my go-tos, just because I feel like those are usually the biggest limiters.
Yeah. And then like, I think in both places there, then you have to start going, okay, we've got this time frame or this limiter or whatever it is. Now movement pattern, right? How can I start to adjust the movement pattern so that we can continue to keep intensity with it and still be able to hit those time frames? So maybe instead of doing a full burpee into the box jump, we take that pressing piece out of it so that we're not fatiguing their upper body so much and they're able to move a little bit quicker through that workout, because we're going to start to see now some of that bleed over on the rower. So the rower can be a really midline taxing, right?
Rower can be taxing for everything.
Yeah. And we're going to see a lot of that in the burpee as well.
Right. Yeah.
So if I can get them through that a little bit quicker and have those two movements have less impact on each other, then that's going to help my overall time frame, which is going to help my overall or my ability to get into that stimulus for the workout.
Right.
So we're thinking, like for me, I'm thinking time and movement patterns.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the things that I'm looking at. And you're thinking about what?
Skill and like loading.
Skill and loading.
Skill and loading. And so, hey, if we got time, movement patterns, skill and loading, then we're covering all the bases, which is why Charlie and I work so well together, because he's always thinking about the thing that I'm not.
Yeah. So it all comes back then to the stimulus. Yep.
Yeah. What are we trying to get out of this workout? What are we trying to accomplish here?
Yep.
And it's going to be different every day. Some days we're going to go a little bit longer. Some days we're going to go heavy. Some days we're going to go short and sprinty. But most of the time we're going to spend kind of in that in-between time frame. So this is one of the things that I like about Mayhem programming, even though we're doing a little bit of non-traditional like CrossFit type stuff, like we're going to do a lift plus a conditioning piece, lots of interval style work. They do a really, really great job of keeping us in that like 7 to 12 minute time frame in couplets and triplets.
Yeah.
So that, if you go into the level 1 manual, is one of the things that Coach Glassman wrote, was the meat and potatoes of CrossFit is in that 7 to 12 minute time frame in couplets and triplets. And Mayhem does a great job of keeping us right there, pushing us outside of it once a week or twice a week, and then like on the long side, and then pushing us outside of that on the short side or the heavy side once or twice a week. So we get that really well-rounded mix of long, short, medium, which helps us build that well-rounded fitness.
And also, they're looking at the whole year as a cycle. So we always have open prep, so things start to get a little bit more intense. Barbell work gets a little bit lighter usually, but more reps, so we can build some capacity. We saw last year after the open, things kind of mellowed out a lot.
Yeah.
A lot more like long, like chill work. Then off season, like during the summer, we were lifting heavy.
Yeah.
It's more skill work.
Yep.
Then kind of like right now we're funneling right into open prep.
Yeah. So I haven't looked at, and I know that we have a sheet somewhere that tells us all of this stuff. So we're kind of winding down now. I think we're in an 8-week. Is it an 8-week cycle?
I can't remember if it's 8, 9, or 12.
I think it's an 8-week cycle, but I
Sure.
feel like Like we're on 70% this week for all of our lifts. So we're
Getting a little lighter.
Kind of winding down into that deload.
We're gonna test soon.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a test come up here pretty shortly within the next week or two. We're already testing our snatch this week. So we're seeing some of that testing start to roll in, which is why I'm like, okay, we're definitely deloading and getting into some testing. So then what month is this? October. So we got probably the rest of October we'll spend doing some of this testing in our lifting, and probably sticking with some just really simple conditioning pieces. November, December, January, February, I think you're right. We're going to see that open prep start to...
Yeah, we're going to hit probably a bridge cycle, which is going to kind of prep us for prep. And that'll probably last like 4 weeks or so, maybe 6. And then we'll start getting into the nitty gritty fun stuff.
Yeah. So you probably starting to see a little bit of skill work coming in, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And then like some like heavy breathing type work. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Probably some heavy lifting under fatigue.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Okay.
Love it.
Man.
Love it.
Open season is upon us.
Yeah.
It is.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean,
best time of the year.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I still get nervous about the open.
Yeah.
Like this will be my, I don't know. I think I've actually signed up for either 9 or 10 opens.
Man.
But I've done the open every year,
year
since I think either 2012 or 2013. I can't remember. So I've done the open every year, and every year as it starts to get closer and closer, I'm like, oh gosh, like what did I forget to work on this year?
This is the first year that like I'm not feeling that way.
Yeah, you feel ready
That's
to
awesome.
rock and roll.
I feel, like everything's like falling.
It's go time.
Falling into place like it should.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's go time.
Yeah.
So what's your open goal this year?
Semis.
Okay, so that's the in-person. I can't remember what the open structure is this year.
Semis for age group will be online.
Okay, but that would be like the third step.
Yeah, so quarterfinals. We have quarterfinals
open,
this year and then
quarterfinals,
semis.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Yeah, my goal is to just do better than I did last year, which is going to be really easy because I was only able to complete 2 of the open workouts last year with my back injury. So.
My goal is to put in RX. So
like on all 3 workouts.
Yep.
You can do it. I know you can. Like I've seen.
I mean, the reps might be like 2, but that's all right.
Whatever. But I mean, it's the test, right?
Yeah.
Like I think you're taking the right approach there. Like if
It's
ever
time.
there's a time you're going to go for it, it's during the open.
Yeah.
Like that's when you go for it. That way, the next time it comes around, we're like, okay, this is where
Now
I
I've
was
got a
last
better
year.
benchmark of,
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. All right, closing thoughts. What's one big thing that you want members to know when it comes to programming?
That it's not just random.
Yeah.
That there is a purpose for everything we do.
Man, I wish I would have prepared for this question. I initially, like right off the top of my head, I want everyone to know how much effort you guys put into the programming each week. It's like we spend as a team a ridiculous amount of time talking through it and making sure that we're, number one, all on the same page, that we have workouts that are appropriate for you when you're walking in the door. It's way more than just this workout that's on the board. Like there's a lot of thought and effort that goes behind it. And it's not just from me. It's like the whole team comes together and puts all of that work in. And, this is something that we have not had in the past, is the level of commitment and effort that you guys are putting into each class every day, and really all the way down to each individual movement. Like, what am I looking at? Like, what am I going to look at when we're doing these roll and reach in the warm up? Like, I mean, the level of detail and effort that you guys are putting into it is just so above and beyond what I could expect as a fellow coach or affiliate owner. Like, I just want them to know how hard you guys work behind the scenes on that stuff. That's what I want.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, can you just put it in, wrap it up, put it in a bow, put it under the Christmas tree? That's what I want.
Yeah, I love that. I love what you said about it's not random. Like each movement has been very intentionally picked to increase your fitness and get you better.
Yeah.
And we don't program thrusters and burpees because we want to see you suffer.
He does.
Charlie does, but there's a reason for it.
Don't worry, I'll woe him for you. I think that's why we work so well together, is because you want to push and I want to back off.
Yeah.
Like we got the old man, young man thing going on, and I'm like, my old back can't take that. And you're like, come on, old man, let's go.
And I'm just here to have a good time.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Good
Love
job.
it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
See you next week.